In other trending news, efforts to ensure food security across the globe starts by securing the world's water supply. That's according to the many food and agricultural organizations marking World Food Day today. This year's theme is focused on viewing water as a food source. UN officials say nations should strive to conserve water and find ways to share it better. Jason Gaidola joining us live from the newsroom with more on this. Jason.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. Only 3% of the world's water supply is fresh water, and most of it is stuck in glaciers across the globe. But nevertheless, experts say that they expect the demand for fresh water to be used, or to be wanting to be used over the next couple decades. They expect that to climb.
UN officials say global agriculture accounts for more than 70% of the world's use of fresh water. And experts believe farmers will need as much as they can get to meet rising food demand.
And food. Without water, there is no food. And there is no food security without water security.
Today, the UN is commemorating World Food Day, an annual acknowledgement about food shortages and world hunger.
This World Food Day, I call on governments, the private sector, civil society and academia to work together to prioritize feeding the hungry, to bring ending this crisis to the top of the global agenda, and to invest in long-term solutions that provide everyone with enough to eat.
This year, the focus is about managing how fresh water should be used and how population growth, economics, and climate change are impacting accessibility.
That the global hydrological cycle is changing, and many of the impacts of climate change, they are felt through water, flooding, drought, and also melting of glaciers.
UN officials say hard-hitting droughts in places like Europe and the Americas are telltale signs, and nearly half of the world's croplands face some level of scarce water supply.
More than 70% of the water that is used by humans is used for agriculture. It's used to produce food, and therefore it's absolutely critical for food and nutrition security. In some countries, it's even more than 90% of all the water withdrawals from the systems. So the water supply is actually used for food production.
In Bolivia, hundreds near a dam are praying for rain to fall as concerns grow about their water source drying up in the high-altitude country. Back in March, the UN held a water conference calling on nations and private companies to find reusable methods, restore aquatic ecosystems, and ensure clean drinking water. Meanwhile, a Norwegian company is finding a drinking solution in the deep sea.
There is a give and take a billion people today who are dependent on desalination in some way, shape, and form on planet Earth. And we see that the need for desalinated water is just increasing dramatically.
The company Waterrise says it's using a low-carbon hydrostatic pressure filtration system to desalinate salt water.
Actually, one of the reactions we see is they say, oh, it's very nice, it's cold water. They say, yes, of course it is, because when you go down to 400 or 500 meters, the water is colder than at the surface.
The company says machinery can produce 50 million liters of fresh water per day, enough to supply cities of 300,000 to 400,000 people.
Here in Canada, the University of Alberta made an announcement this past summer about their new water research center, saying they will further study on matters like reusable methods, better water treatment, and better infrastructure.